Greetings and welcome to another edition of Top 10 Worst of Lists. Not only one of the finest in Worst of List presentations within the Top 10 Worst of Diaspora, but also perhaps the finest slice of entertainment, infotainment that you can find anywhere and any outlet at any price. Coming at you. Top 10 Worst of is designed not only to be fun, entertaining, spontaneous, and lo-fi, honest to goodness, life-changing experience, but also, good for you. It's good and good for you. It's Top 10 Worst of List. I'm your host for today's episode. My name is Kiefer Hands Off, and I can't wait to get into it. I mean, I got a little bit of business to take care of up front, but Top 10 Worst of List today is so life-changing that you will think of this time that we spent together for Top 10 Worst of List as the time before you heard this episode and after you've heard this episode. It's going to be like a dividing line. The point of inflection, as those bluebeards and long hairs like to refer to it as they sit there casually stroking their beards thinking about Top 10 Worst of Lists and the impact on society as a whole and perhaps even history as a whole. It's Top 10 Worst Foods to Have for Second Dinner. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, false alarm. You're thinking you're going to try to play it cool, right? Like you've never heard of second dinner. I'm too cool for second dinner. Look at me. I'm stoic. I'm inscrutable. People try to analyze me, but they never get it right. They don't know the true me. I've got it so hidden away by the many different complex layers of shifting chameleonic personas that nobody can really get to know the real me. It's impossible. It's a possibility. But hey, I mean, let's be honest. Second dinner is, it's that dirty little secret that we all just speak of in hushed tones. But I mean, let's be honest. Second dinner's a thing. It's the thing. Everybody's doing second dinner now. And Top 10 Worst of List is the only place that has the courage to be able to admit it. Yeah. Second dinner's, is Top 10 Worst of List's middle name. Certainly mine. All right, so here's how it goes. This is the schedule, and trust me, you might not want to admit it to yourself. You might want to be in denial. You'd be like nervously shaking the clicker or your button on the mouse to be like, should I turn it off? I need to turn it off. I can't turn it off. Because confronting your truest self is one of the most difficult things to do in this life. But it's essential. Now more than ever. We need to be honest with ourselves. Be truthful to ourselves. Or, what's the point? And yeah, it might not all be great and gravy and Spitfires and Maseratis and such. But such is life. Whatever. If you wanted to be perfect and you were in the, sort of like parallel universe or undefined ether where all of our souls exist before we're launched onto this vile and horrific planet Earth, just floating in the ether there, just an undefined amorphous spirit energy. That none of us can truly comprehend. And you're just kind of wasting there, and you don't think going in my next incarnation, I really prefer to play it cool and not be honest with myself, and cast aspersions on others that show any signs of individuality. Nay, I say nay. We need to find true liberation of self and self identity, and it's the most important thing in this life. I'm telling you, it's going to come into play. You're going to be judged at some point and found wanting, and you're going to be like, "Why the hell am I found wanting? I've never been thought of myself as been found wanting in this life or in previous incarnations and whatever other dimensional energy transformative transdimensional being I might have existed as." So what? Who cares? Nobody cares. Nobody cares about you. It's you just here floating through this life. And this life is all about, identifying who you really are, what you really want out of life, and going for it. With with fists full of fat ass, glowing in the primordial ooze of life's rich goo. You get that goo. And we're here to help you. Top 10 worst of this. Top 10 worst foods to have for a second dinner. It goes like this, okay? And we're being honest here. We're going to cut through all the jibber jabber and peel away the layers of onion and get right down to the gritty. I'm not sure about the nitty, but we'll get the gritty. And so we start off the day. You have a breakfast snack. It's usually something pretty small, perhaps something that's sitting on the table in front of you where you fell asleep last night. You got like a plate full of crackers or a bag of chips or something like that sitting next to you in the sofa. And you're like, oh, thank God this bag of chips has still got a few shards in there, and you dig around, you slobber it all over your face, and you're like, oh man, another freaking day on planet Earth. Wow, what a gift. And then you go through that, and then you trust the teeth, and then you get the breakfast, which by and large stays nothing, no big fare. Drive through, get, that toasted muffin or something, whatever it is, and you shove that one down your pie hole, and you get to work, and then you get the mid-morning snacks, and that's, something vending machine material type of thing, and you move on, and then you get regular lunch. And then you've got, sometime, depending on the flexibility that you've got at work and stuff, if you're working out of the house, you're going to have something that I refer to as dunch, which is something between dinner and lunch, a meal like brunch is on Sundays and stuff like that. Dunch does not take the place of dinner and lunch like brunch will take the place of breakfast and lunch, like combine the two. Dunch is just an extra meal between dinner and lunch, where you grab something like a breakfast burrito or a Hot Pocket or something to tide you over. If you are working like in a regular environment, it's vending machine time again. And that's just the way it is. Sorry. And then regular dinner. And then, I don't know, around 11 o'clock or whenever it is that you finally put the kids down. And by down, I mean drive them with your minivan into a local water reservoir. And then you finally have some time to yourself. And you got, whatever it is on your queue that you're ready to watch on the streaming services. And that's time for second dinner. And you go, and it's usually like a comfort food and whatnot. And it's usually going to give you nightmares and be really super unhealthy for you. But it doesn't matter because, who gives a rat's ass anymore? Am I right? So second, what's today's top 10 worst of lists? Worst foods to have for second dinner. Okay? So, I mean, there's a connoisseur approach to this thing can make second dinner one of the most enjoyable meals of the day. You got to pick and choose. And it's sort of, I mean, I got to be honest up front here. It's going to depend very for different people. Like some people are going to want something like super, like unhealthy. And some people are going to want things that are only modestly unhealthy. So anyway, before we get to that, we get just a few things to take care of. Number one, I'm not here to win friends and influence enemies. I am here to chew ass and kick bubble gum. Okay? And I got a top 10 list in my back pocket that's the voted the best top 10 worst of lists by the Council of Top 10 Worst Elders 3 days in a row. And, it's unstoppable. It's a force of extraordinary magnitude that we build to honor our forefathers and gesticulate wild reality checks that will liberate the human race and prevent our obliteration by the onslaught of AI cybernetic robots. We will form a resistance together. Fans of Top 10 Worst of lists will be one of the final groups that they send off to the death camps as we rally our troops by the force of our intellectual gravitas. And stupidity. We'll have t-shirts that say, I'm with stupid. And instead of having an arrow that points in one direction all the time, we'll have a little spinner wheel where the arrow you can just spin the arrow and it'll point to various different people where you're sitting around with the thing. Maybe not so much the t-shirt stuff. I haven't really thought that all the way through. But, today's list is going to have some stuff, might have some opinions that you're not going to dig, or some facts that you might not want to believe in. And I'm doing my best for the facts, but, it might take a little bit more oomph than, one person sort of shaking their fist at the dying of the light. You think you could maybe pitch in and fact check some of this stuff yourself? I think you'll be pleased. I think you'll find that I'm pretty darn close, but maybe a little bit of who knows what and whatnot, because when I get heavy into it, I'm just like lashing out at everything that comes my way. Come on, come on, baby, come on. Ooh, I poked you in the eye, Three Stooges style. You weren't ready for that one. Woohoo! And then you might have want to think like, oh, this guy is obviously like looking to, pull a fast one on me, make me think that I'm being entertained when he's really like implanting all kinds of different surreptitious social engineering and brainwashing seeds into the back of my brain, which will flower into earworms and such. Earwigs. I've got freaking fuzzball. That fat fuzzball guy planted earwigs in the back of my brainstem. I'm not planting any subliminal messages or anything like that. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I just don't have the wherewithal at this stage. I don't think I would ever want to do something like that. But even if I did, I just don't have the get up and go, the pep in my step. So there with that. So before we get started, though, unfortunately, one more intrusion here that I am obliged to indulge upon, and it's their commercial sponsors for today's episode. From makers of Jack and the Beanstalk, it's Frack and the Beanstalk. Our country is rapidly leading a charge to allow for giant oil companies to frack in what were formerly nationally protected lands, wetlands. And there's just a lot of, so we need to build a mythos around that to help support it. There's all been a bunch of lies and obfuscations, like George Washington could not tell a lie, and he told his father that he chopped down the cherry tree. Turns out that story was all a lie to begin with, which is kind of ironic now, don't you think? But anyway, so we need to have a whole mythology of legitimizing fracking so that people won't feel so bad about it and be like, oh, the fracking's come to our neighborhood. Thank the Lord for fracking. And by the time they're done with us, they're going to be like, whoever thinks that fracking is a bad thing, should be executed with great prejudice and without the benefit of anesthetic. So fracking the beanstalk. Jack of the Beanstalk anyway wasn't like and we got it all wrong. Jack in Jack and the Beanstalk is the bad guy. You realize this, right? Jack gets the magic beans, toss them into the backyard. Everybody trades the cow. The family's going to die of starvation. Like 22,999 other people do every single day. Jack and the Beanstalk is going to die. Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk is going to die from starvation-related causes. They throw the beans out the window. The beans are turned out to really actually be magic beans and grows a gigantic beanstalk. And what do? They take all the beans, they harvest off of the giant beanstalk, these giant, huge soybeans probably, and feed the whole world forever. The end. Happy ever after. No, I'm just kidding. No, they don't. They totally disregard the fact that they've now got a gigantic beanstalk that they can eat off of forever and make all the kinds of soy burgers and et cetera off of, and feed the whole goddamn world. Instead, Jack climbs up the beanstalk, finds that there's a family living in the clouds or some sort of whatever, and the woman in the family, it's a woman and a man. The woman feeds Jack because Jack cries poor mouth and stuff like that, and she takes pity on him and feeds him, and he repays the favor by stealing their stuff, stealing their goose, the golden harp or whatever, and I don't know what else. Steals their stuff, goes up there I think 3 times, and the giant is like belligerent, yeah, like a grumpy old man, but he never does anything to Jack. He never actually eats his bone, grind his bread to make his bones or whatever. And then Jack, finishes ripping off all their valuables and running away. And each time the lady's nice to him and, kind of looks past the thievery and whatnot. And and now they've got nothing. So when he gets, I guess the golden goose is the last of their valuables, the giant pursues Jack because now they've got literally nothing, and they're the ones who are going to starve. And they didn't do anything to anybody. If anything, they did Jack a favor by feeding the poor kid. And so now he's stolen all their stuff, and the giant pursues him. This is a matter of life and death for the giant and his wife. And then Jack chops down the beanstalk, and the giant dies, and the wife, I guess, dies, or she starves to death. One of the two. But the worst part of the whole thing is that this magic beanstalk that with the giant beans that could have fed the world forever is now gone and dead. And there's no more magic beans and no more nothing. So Jack and his family sit around. They got golden stuff, golden gooses and whatnot and all that kind of thing. So they live like millionaires until they're all dead. And a bunch of, and our misinterpretation of what's really going on in this movie. How did anybody ever make Jack out to be heroic at all? Why is the happiness of Jack, the what we focus on in that goddamn fairy tale? It's like it is like they're promoting thievery as being a good thing. It's a good moral thing. It's saying like Jack has lived happily ever after. Who cares about Jack living happily ever after? He's a thieving, conniving little skank who cost the world their one opportunity to be fed in abundance forever. So anyway, it's fracking the beanstalk and stuff. And then from the producers of one of the all-time greatest musicals in the golden age of Hollywood, it's from the producers of the Easter Parade movie. It's the Keister Parade movie, where a bunch of people waddle down the street, giant fat asses that nobody's supposed to talk about, and kind of like the announcers for the thing talk about, things in veiled terms, like saying like, oh, isn't this a bulbous affair, or terms like, it's a good thing that Broadway is so broad to make way for all these delicious bootylicious action. It's Keister Parade. It's my used to keep on it. It's all the cream upon it. And to go get a tramp stamp on the Keister Parade. And let's see here. There's a lot of bad stuff I'm scrolling through. Trust me, I'm saving you. I know it seems like, what am I waiting for? When does this guy get done? Is it over? Is the episode over? I'm just going. It's bad. It's not. From the makers of Banana Republic, now comes Banana Hammock Republic, the finest selection in a wide array of thongs and bikini underwears. It's Banana Hammock Republic. And the new sitcom coming into the All Fecal Network, it's Gomer's Pile. Dumb. The voted dumbest channel on television by the learning outside of the Learning Channel. And from the producers of Gone in 60 Seconds, it's the story of the East Wing of the White House and the U.S. economy and U.S. credibility and low gas prices and billions of dollars. It's Gone in 60 Seconds. Part 2. The Redux. And for producers of Gone with the Wand comes a double feature without equal. It's Gone with the Wand, the porno version of Gone with the Wind, and Gone with the Windu. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a mother funk. It's Gone with the Windu, featuring Mace Windu of Star Wars fame. Stars Wars, the stupidest movie franchise in all of history. Stupid, waste of time, stupid. And not because the people, I love the prequels, actually. I think it's great. I don't think we watch those either the correct way. I mean, it's like, obviously they're bashing the hell out of organized religion. I don't think anybody gets that, because I don't think anybody's used to it, really. It just sort of proves, as the exception proves the rule, that there's so much conformity and so much tippy-toeing around these a-holes and stuff like that, that when you actually see something that's bashing on the stupidity and ignorance of organized religion, in Attack of the Clones, Yoda actually tells, is his big advice to Anakin Skywalker, is never to love, because caring leads to fear, and fear leads to hate, and hate leads to the dark side. It's like, your religion is to never care about anything? What happened to the good guys? That's not being good. Teaching people how not to care, how not to love, because you might lose something. I mean, it's Buddhist, by saying that, the pathway to, what do they call the Four Noble Truths? No, it's not the Noble Truths of the Buddha. It's like the cessation of misery. That's what it is. You end misery by ending desire. Like, what? I mean, I get having irrational desires and over, like to want not just a car to be able to have a decent life for you and your family and stuff like that, but to want a Maserati or something that's like overly self-indulgent. That's one thing. But to have, like, look, all I really want is off-street parking and in-unit laundry. And for my money, that's living the greatest luxury. Like stuff, or maybe having one or two people in your life that you can count on. Other than that, all the other stuff is unnecessary, right? But these Jedi religions and Buddhisms and stuff say that to end all misery, they have to end all desire. What? How do you end all your desire? And that's not living at all. It's just like suspended animation. You just kind of, it's like, what's that old grading system that they used to have? Pass or fail. Like you could get, I don't know, A, B, C, D, and F or whatever it is for a grading system. Or you could take some college courses, you can take them pass or fail. Buddhism and Jedi religion is like taking pass fail on life. I mean, life is about overcoming obstacles towards, reasonable, personally important goals to be devoted to and to strive towards. And overcoming obstacles in life is how you get inner strength and quality of character. And that's, something that's crucial in your ability to be able to help out, those in your life worth caring for. People are going to get into trouble. People are going to need help. People are going to need patience and nurturing. And if you're lucky at all, succor. And Succor, I think. But it's like, if you don't gain those experiences through trying, failure, succeeding, and so on and so forth, that's what makes good people. And that's why people say, how, if there's a God, how come it makes, so many bad things happen to good people? That's how good people become good people. Through suffering, overcoming obstacles, and striving, and believing in yourself. And that's the best thing in life. So if you've got a religion that's saying that the best things in life aren't worth living through or striving towards, then they suck. And that's what happened to the Jedi Council. Because thousands of Jedi all over the world, universe, or whatever, and they can't figure out that Palpatine is the guy who's behind all that stuff. Please. Ignorance, stupidity, everything that organized religion has been all about since the dawn of time. And wasting people's lives and putting people's lives in jeopardy. Good people and hardworking, striving people will be suffering because of the ignorance and apathy of organized religion. That's a great subtextual concept for a movie and plus you never ever get to see in Hollywood movies anything like that. And I think that's what throws people off. They're like, they're not even looking for it. That's how turned off we become through years and years of, what the hell am I doing all this for? Guests of Top 10 Worst of List stay at the luxurious guests of the segment stayed at Holiday Out Suites. Get out and stay out with Holiday Out Suites, now available by the hour. Wardrobe provided by Botany 500. Each of our guests also receives a copy of the Top 10 Worst List home game, which they can play even if they are homeless. It is made entirely by child labor in unsanitary conditions where they have to work 70 hours or more per week to make a living wage and drop dead on average by the age of 32 from a combination of black lung, dysentery, and the long-term effects of sudden infant death syndrome. All right, so now I think we're ready for Top 10 Worst Ofs. Actual list today is, as I mentioned before, top 10 worst foods to have for second dinner. Number 10, whale carcass and tushy sauce. Now, I'm a big fan of the tushy sauce, and it's like, I find myself oftentimes craving its delicious texture and mouthfeel. But whale carcass is kind of, it's frowned upon in most polite societies these days. Even the Japanese who lived off of whale for, 10,000 years or wherever, how back far they go, have to kind of lay it off and kind of keep it on the DL. But, they're all good. They call it vegetarian abalone. So if you ever see vegetarian abalone, it's like sort of like, like a secret dog whistle for food. You see vegetarian abalone, you gotta look at it. It's actually whale carcass. So you can get it, and they got it at all the Asian markets and stuff like that. You can pick it up like nobody's business. The tushy sauce is a little harder to come by. It takes a vast amount of prep work and sourcing of locally sourced tushy. And that'll be on a separate edition of Top 10 Worst of List. I'm not prepared to be able to go into all the ins and outs of tushy sauce. The tushy ins and outs are beyond my capacity to be able to incorporate into today's episode. Number 9 of the Top 10 Worst Foods to have for second dinner, ice cream soup. That's everybody's favorite. Let's not pussyfoot around here. Or if we're going to do some pussyfooting, let's fully commit to pussyfooting, which I'm not against necessarily, but a time or place for pussyfooting or footing pussies or whatever. I guess I got to say the word cats just to clear it up for any potential people who are, get their minds in the gutter. For shame. Shame on you. Ice cream soup is one of the greatest delicacies in rapidly growing French cuisine. Michelin-starred restaurants are featuring ice cream soup as both the main course, the appetizer, and occasionally the between meal palate cleanser. It's ice cream soup, goddammit. Number 8 of the top 10 worst foods to have for second dinner: spaghetti and ball meat. Now, I like the ball meats when they're still kind of spongy and responsive to the touch. It's excellent because you can make a lot of it on the cheap. It's like, when you really want to, go face first into a second dinner experience, you can make voluminous loads of spaghetti and ball meat, compared to, for your shopping dollar, compared to such other delicacies as Chateaubriand or coq au vin. But sometimes it's nice to have the coq au vin with the spaghetti and ball meat, and you can have Coke and ball meat. Oops, sorry. The stupidity sometimes is my favorite thing. Number 7 of the top 10 worst foods to have for second dinner: Caesar salad with toothpaste on it instead of dressing. Now, I'm a big fan. I gotta admit. Caesar salad. First of all, why is there Caesar salad but no other Caesar-oriented flavored foodstuffs? Like if you've got chicken parmesan, right? You can have chicken parmesan. You can have eggplant parmesan. You can have veal parmesan. Shh, don't tell them I talked about veal. They'll have my nads in a vice grip. But so you got lots of parmesan options. You can have all kinds of different parmesans if you really set your mind to it. I used to have skirt steak parmesan, which was freaking out of sight. I loved you bread it up and it's a cheap cut of meat, so you can spread it a long way. Turn second dinner into just a festival or something. If you got an all night, you're gonna sit around and catch up with all your missed episodes of Days of Our Lives and stuff like that, or All My Children. So you got a lot of viewing hours ahead of you. You're going to be staying up late. Your second dinner can't flag after just 20 minutes worth of tube time. Skirt steak is an awesome cut. And it's tough to eat. Even if you make it just a little well done, you got to work for it. Skirt steak makes you work for the delicious goodness, which is one of the things that I love about it. And then you slather it with breadcrumbs and its garlics and stuff, and if you're lucky, a little tushy sauce. And then you put it on the parmesanos and the tomato sauce, and you got yourself a party. You can get some garlic bread, put it on the garlic bread, man. God damn. I didn't get this large for nothing. I know my junk. I know how to pile on the poundage with a lot of good, unhealthy eating. Oh, yeah. So, but where's the other Caesars? There's no veal Caesars or, skirt steak Caesars or any other Caesars besides salad. You'd figure that something that ingrained into our Epicurean palates, and it would be somewhere else in the food world. twice baked Caesar potatoes, something, anything. But it's nowhere. There are no other Caesars besides Caesar salad, and I have a bit of a problem. But while we work within the confines of the Caesar salad, there are certain things that we can do to spice things up a little bit and make things a little different. And one of which I've come upon is toothpaste on it instead of dressing. Now, toothpaste as a sauce, I think overall, and not just here on the Caesar salad, isolated on the Caesar salads, but I think toothpaste as a dressing is like an idea that whose time is really, well overdue. Because not only is it delicious, like certainly if you've got like a minty toothpaste and a lamb chop or something where you already have the mint jellies and such, or toothpaste and a mint julep to replace the mint. But it also, think about it, if you've got a sauce made out of toothpaste, that means you're not going to have to spend as much time scrubbing down the teeth with the toothbrush before you go to bed. To Betty Bye. You already had a lot of that work done, a lot of the grunt work, because you're eating food with toothpaste on it. Especially if you got something like with a lot of roughage. Tripe, like fried tripe with toothpaste sauce. Digging through the tripe and get the toothpaste really getting in there. Or maybe inside of a taco. It's the taco chips, really getting those nooks and crannies as it get busted up with that fat, disrespectful mouth of yours. We need to start conserving our time because we got to squeeze in more and more television time, more and more, product placement stuff. We got stuff to do. We don't have time to go running and brushing our teeth every goddamn 5 minutes, especially if we've got like 8 meals in a day. We need to prioritize the meals, So adding toothpaste to the meals seems like the next logical step to be able to have enough time to be able to get it all done. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of heavy lifting. And number 6 of the top 10 worst foods to have for second dinner, it's a tie. Yeah. It's first of the 2 items of the tie, a bowl full of senior mints. Now, look, ageism is just as legitimate. Speaking as somebody who's a gray-haired grandpa, out of touch nobody, I know that ageism, seniorism, whatever this term is for it, is something that people think is just blow right past. I mean, you're not supposed to talk about people's looks, how they look, or how they feel, or how you can't touch them and you can't work with them, you can't talk to them, or whatever. So the last area of prejudice seems to be age rageism, is what I call it, or rage ageism, whichever you prefer. I haven't really codified the rules, strictures, and definitions of age rageism quite yet. But why do we have, and just answer me right now, goddammit, why do we have junior mints and no senior mints? Junior mints has been around for frickin' ever, so I get it. It's just like a legacy food where people don't look at it too closely, like manwich. How does manwich still exist in a post-Me Too environment? Manwiches are you kidding me? With manwiches, a sexist, environment like what we've got now, where people like sort of hating each other so much just for any kind of casual, inadvertent misstep, and you're ruined forever, and they threaten to kill you, and they ruin your businesses, and they take your life away from you, a dream that you've held close to your heart for 30 years and sacrificed everything for, and now you're a complete fat, wastoid, washout? And still manwiches exist? Are you freaking kidding me? And what about Hungry Man dinners? Are you freaking kidding me with the Hungry Man dinners? Freaking Hungry Man dinners. Where's the justice in the world? Where's the truth? Where's the equality after everybody went through all the 70s, well, of course they scrubbed our brains free of all that, tomfooleries of having equal rights for all and everything like that, and finally ending the basis upon racial prejudice and whatnot that they got rid of out of our brains between like 1975 and the Reagan years, where they just made it seem like none of that ever happened, none of that growth ever took place, and they took us back to the 1950s as fast as they could, where we're all living in denial, we're all living in racist, segregated, bubbles that we don't allow anybody else who's not exactly like us to take place within, even though we keep calling ourselves unique individuals and stuff like it's a point of pride. But oh wait, no, I don't want any other unique individuals to encroach in my vacuum sealed inner circle. Jesus Christ, the hypocrite nature of people in this place in order to buy into all the hatred mechanisms that they keep force feeding us is astounding. But you get senior mints, no junior mints. You get manwiches and no female witches. Woman witches. I don't know what to call it. Or hungry female dinners. What is going on here? These are popular products that have been around for decades. I'm so for serious right now. And the other side of the tie here for line item number 6 is foie gras and surf and turf. Now, not that, anybody has any real, large-scale predilection towards actually pursuing societal-wide concerns for industrial farming of animals and the practices therein, and human rights. Animal rights and human obligations. They don't want to have anything to do with it. They'll talk a big game and stuff like that, but they don't really. Outside of a few people who are vegetarian and vegan for purposes of trying to bring their dollar votes to bear in terms of the treatment of animals. And you see some people occasionally will do things to try to help animals out, but mostly it's misguided, and the source of the impetus for people is brainwashing to try to get people to conform to the various different strictures and ruling elite agenda items, like taking away animal showcases that were causing young children to have transformative experiences when they were very young, and these magical experiences that they see when they're up close with performing animals and they're very young, they become animal rights activists for life. And they needed to take that away from us as a means of destroying our connection with animals and nature and everything like that. And I'll bet you anything that one of the many statistics that they keep hidden from us is the drop in the amount of people who are lifelong activists or going to animal services and animal protective societies, veterinary work, and all kinds of different things after they stopped all the circuses and all the orca shows and stuff like that. Over what? Over, like animals working hard? If people are being observant and careful about how they treat animals and these things, it can be a magnificently inspiring thing for small kids to see. And is it tough? Yes. Is life tough for any of us other living creatures on this earth? Absolutely. So, sometimes certain beings on this planet need to make sacrifices in order for the greater good. And at some point, people just lost sight of all of that. And you need to demand to see the actual statistics. You'll never see them. They'll never let you see it, because this is what it's really all about. Ending circuses and ending orca shows and things of that nature. The real reason for that was to prevent small kids from having lifelong transformative experiences and becoming dedicated for the rest of their life towards animal rights issues and human obligations. I guarantee it. To the extent that I'm able to guarantee anything, I am still, sort of a fat fuzzball washout nobody. But anyway, so foie gras, okay, so that's off the list because of that. Who wants to force feed a duck until they die with the overabundance of liver and turn the liver into a pate? It seems overabundant. It's like listening to vinyl. and insisting that you could tell the difference between the quality of music through vinyl and the quality of music through digital. And if you can, oh, bully for you, big whoop, like you feel like you deserve that, all the extra gas and trucks and pollution that it costs to deliver vinyl albums throughout the country, the box stores or to your doorway, which is even more waste of gas and stuff like that. You think you deserve that in a world that's as bad off as this, that's about to collapse or implode from the weight of climate change? And you think, well, what a great time to start listening to vinyl again. And the surf and turf is just like, I mean, that's just a heavy meal for late at night. You know, who wants to be eating like fancy ass surf and turfs at like frickin' midnight in the morning and stuff? You know, so that's why it's one of the worst foods to add to your second dinner menu. Number 5 of the top 10 worst foods to have for second dinner: Ancient Mariner frozen semen popsicles. Because that could not be, it's too salty. Too much salt. It's not good for you. Number 4, for the top 10 worst foods to have for second dinner: Ancient Mariner frozen semen drizzled over raw cancer cells. You know, sometimes it becomes painfully obvious why I'm so unpopular. We're up to 1.3 listeners per episode. Woohoo! Number 3 of the top 10 worst foods to have for second dinner: human meat Wellington. Yes. I don't know. I think for me, it's pretty obvious why that wouldn't be a good addition to your second dinner menu options. But perhaps for an appetizer, maybe, you know, a smaller portion. It's just so complex to make beef Wellingtons, even in the human meat conditions. It's just like that puff pastry stuff is a bear and a half even. You know, you can't handle it with your hands. You need to keep it frozen half the time. It's multi-layered pastries and stuff. It's really hard to get those layers to, you know, separate and whatnot. But when you do, oh, it's so flaky. And the human ass meat is such a perfect compliment. It's like those, you know, it's the ideal pairing for puff pastries. Number 2 for the top 10 worst foods to have for second dinner: human meat stroganoff. Well, talk about delicious pairings. Mwah! The human ass meat especially is especially a tasty choice cut of human meat to add to the stroganoffs. You know, again, it's all about, you know, the pairing, the to go together, that creamy stroganoff sauce and noodles with finely marinated ass meat kebabs is delectable, and I'm so for serious. All right, so now we've got to the top of the worst food chain to have for second dinner: harvest meat from your own body and feed it to dogs and then cook the dogs. Oh, no. Oh, man, I can hear the... Hello, sir, we've come to take you away. Oh, no. It's the frickin' thought police again. Here they go. Here we go. All right, so I have a lot of apologizing to do for today's episode. Well, I'm so sorry. But I'm so glad that you joined in and are doing what you can to be a part of the solutions to part of the problem. Turn off, tune out, and plug in is their motto, right? Okay? And if you keep going like this, it's not going to be... I mean, look, none of us have a happy ending for us awaiting at the end of the... on the threshold of the Rainbow Bridge. But, so why not live life like it's an adventure? Even the tough stuff. The gooey, ooey, chewy, kablooey nature of our captivity is quite harsh. So, I mean, you're choosing comfort and denial over liberation and depth of character. That's what it boils down to. All right, anyways, so that's all the time we have for Top 10 Worst of List. What a pleasure it's been to be able to be here once again presenting you some of the finest entertainment, infotainment, educational, enlightening, and I'd like to think motivational programs in the history of everything. I can't thank you enough for going on this journey with me. Tune in tomorrow for another new edition, if I live long enough, of Top 10 Worst of Top 10 Worst Things to Keister. What a pleasure again it's been, but don't forget we've got a charity functions coming up.